Hello YouTube, it's Dude and I'm back with the third and final part of the TFYTC collection showcase. We are starting off with Mr. Matt Wood's collection. You can see he shot it at a bit of an angle here, and it's a mix of a collection. It's not just solely Transformers, and that's never a bad thing. We've got some Hot Toys there on the left, it looks like, and beside that we have a Star Trek ship, easy for me to say, on the top of that shelf, as well as some GoBots it looks to be. More Star Trek ships continuing to be on the top of the shelving, with some Star Wars figures, some Funko Pops in there as well. And then we get to some Transformers, and that definitely looks like a lot of Optimus Primes. And who can't get enough of Optimus Prime? I can't for one. And then lastly, on that metal style rack, we're seeing a lot of Power Ranger goodies. Very cool display from Matt Wood. Next up, in an IKEA Detolf, we have Matthew Baldwin's display. No expense has been spared here, and no space is going unused. And people thought my Borders Dude pose when it came to my collection was tight fitting, but boy, he beats me on this one. A third party Omega Supreme and Devastator all crammed in there. A very unique way to display your figures, Matthew, but I do like it. Very cool nonetheless. Next up is Neil Witcher, and this guy has sent in a lot of pictures, but we're starting off with some Megatrons here in their own display, and we've got a mixed bag from every generation of toy, from Generation 1 all the way up to Masterpiece. Very cool to see all these figures together, and they have their own dedicated table. Very nicely done. We get a wider shot of more of his display here, along with the two variant Transformers the movie posters. The one on the right is definitely the one that I grew up with, but we've got all those lovely Titans taking up a lot of space there and showing them off, and why shouldn't you? We've got Devastator there in one of those white display cases. A nice IDW style Ultra Magnus from Titans Return, or Combiner Wars I should say. Some Prime figures, there's a Skylynx on the top shelf. There's a lot going on, and that's very cool. Plus, if we look in the right hand side corner, we can see he's got some tanks for some tropical animal pets. And this, I'm guessing, is Harry Potter Lego. Not the biggest Lego fan myself, or indeed the biggest Harry Potter fan, but it's very nicely displayed, along with those Transformer logos. I believe the Autobot logo is the Covenant book, but I could be wrong. Getting a nice shot here in a unique way to display Mastermind Creations Predaking. I've never seen it displayed like that before. That's very cool. And just a mixed bag of figures here. Always nice to have a bit of variety in your collection. We've got a nice glass display here. This time it's not a Detolf, and has a lot of Generation 1 figures. In fact, it is mostly Generation 1 figures, and we can see a lovely Generation 1 poster there as well, and those voice changer helmets on the very top of the glass display cabinet. Now we have an IKEA Detolf there with the Millennium Falcon sitting at the top in Lego form, along with some movie figures of Megatron, some more Optimus Prime figures, and a mixed bag of figures. And look, there's even an Aliens poster there as well. Don't forget the little stormtroopers. And lastly from Neil, where the rest of his collection stays in storage. But it's always good to have these Transformers handy, because you never know when you want to recycle that display. Very cool, Neil. Next up is Patriot Prime's display. And all the shelves are colour coded along with the wallpaper or paint of the background, and it really works well when displaying all these figures. We've got a nice variety of figures. Generations, Legends, some Generation 1 there. Very nice to see. But you've probably seen a lot of these in his videos anyway, but it's still cool to see them all together. Here is a picture of all the Titan class figures that he has from Generations and Generation 1. Plus, of course, we've got all the little Titan class support characters such as Scamper, Six Gun, Cog, and I can't remember what Scorponok's partner is called, but this is a nice display. I love the Titan class figures, so it's nice to see them all together. Now we've got some combiners, and of course you know combiners are my favourite gimmick, so again putting them all together in one display really pleases me to see. And on the very top of that combiner display, we've got the classic Generation 1 Optimus Prime, as well as some other Transformers merchandise. And from Transformers the Show, here is Mr. Paul Farley's now dated collection, because I believe he sold a lot of these figures on. But this is still impressive to see. Again, a lot of people have mixed feelings on boxed figures being on display, but I think it looks really impressive, and it's not something I could do because I don't have the willpower to keep my figures in boxes. A very impressive display. It's a shame it just no longer exists at Mr. Farley's abode. And here I go with the butchering of names. This is Peter Hillou's collection, and you can see it is just focusing on Optimus Primes, and there's nothing wrong with that. Optimus Prime is an iconic character, and if you want to focus your collection on one figure, Optimus Prime's the very chap to do it with. Very nice there. Obviously there's some of those really oversized KOs of the MP10 mold that do look dead impressive. A very nice collection from Peter Hillou. And here's a picture from another Peter. And this guy actually lives very close to me in a neighbouring town. I'm not going to try and butcher his surname because I know him fairly well, but I do like what he's done here. It's a smaller collection, but it's perfectly formed. Has a few choice favourites in there, and of course Ultra Magnus displayed front and centre. So of course I'm going to love this picture. Next up is Sam Palmer, who you may know on YouTube as X Hardcore Gamer X, where he discusses retro games of various quality and, I guess, fun, would we say. But he has a mixture of Transformers and, of course, Power Rangers from more or less my era as well of Power Rangers, sort of the Mighty Morphin era. But it's really cool to see all this together, again with the white shelving. I think that really does make figures pop when you have them on display. Very cool to see from Sam. And the final person to showcase his collection is Scott Lumsdon, and he's using LED strips to great effect here to enhance the display that he has going. We've got a lot of Generations figures here, as well as some Unite Warriors figures from Takara, that lovely Computron that I'm always envious that I don't have. Again, another picture just showing off more of that same display. And it's lovely just to see how that light is reflecting off the shelving. It's a very neat touch. And I love this picture of Unicron with the red LED, making him menacing looking. Very nice. And the very final picture from Scott, and indeed of this video, is Unicron again. I really hope he's only got one HasLab Unicron, because if not, he's a very lucky person. And of course we have him with Kingdom Galvatron, Kingdom Cyclones, and Studio Series 86 Scourge. What a fantastic way to end this video, and indeed this series of videos. Thanks to everyone who showcased their collection at the TFYTC. I really appreciated seeing everyone's collection, and I hope you guys who have watched this video appreciated seeing them as well. Thanks again, and I'll see you soon with another video.